Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Before you listen to this episode, go over to Instagram and please follow us at Carissa and Jason, and then hop straight over to YouTube and subscribe to us at Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. We appreciate your support and we hope you enjoy this episode.
You're going to end up leading this one.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Real Talk with Carissa and Jason.
Hello.
We're happy to be back. Happy that we still have all of 2 listeners.
Yeah, I think we're at 5 now.
Okay. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Jason always encourages me that we're doing this podcast for us.
We are.
So
this is what we talk about when it's just me and you talking. So
yeah.
We're just recording what we talk about anyway.
Easy peasy.
That's it.
Lemon squeezy. Well, this is a topic that we've both have personally talked about for a long time, actually. But the topic of dreams.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It can go in so many different directions.
It can. Okay, let's start with this. What is your experience with dreams? Like, what do you believe that dreams are?
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
Yeah. So that's a good question, because before you and I met, I just thought dreams were just dreams, just, whatever that means, in terms of they were just visualizations of something, that random things that probably mean nothing. That's kind of where I was before. Yeah. And then I remember, I don't even know if you remember this conversation that you and I had, but you and I talked about it.
I definitely remember it.
And you said that, no, dreams are God talking to you. And I'm like, I don't think so, because if you knew some of these dreams that I have, I don't think God sent those dreams to me. And if he did, hey, praise God. Yeah. But I don't know if it's a situation that just because you and I had the conversation and then all of a sudden I look at dreams differently. So because mentally and emotionally I'm looking at them differently, I'm seeing them differently, because since you and I've had those conversations, I have analyzed the dreams a lot differently. And those other dreams that I was having, I don't have them anymore. Yeah. All of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And then the dreams that I do have now, I'm noticing patterns to them that I didn't notice before. Mm-hmm. I'm noticing really weird things about them that didn't jump out at me before. Yeah. And I can easily now equate them to how he's speaking to me. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of times where I have no clue what this dream is about. Yeah. And then I usually end up messaging you and be like, yo, check this dream out. Think about it like the one about my car. Yeah. Over and over and over again in different ways, which, by the way, I had another dream about me losing my car 2 nights ago. Wow. So whatever. So that's been a reoccurring dream that keeps coming up. So again, I don't know if it's only because you put it in my head that it's God speaking to you, and now that's what I'm looking for. But I definitely notice patterns now, and when I pray on them now, I am getting answers more times than not. Yeah. There's been situations where I'm not getting answers, my car dream being one of them. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's just me telling you, because it's like, for example, it's like you can look back like in your life from when you didn't know God, and you're just like, wow, God, like you were speaking to me and you were like protecting me. And then like you come to like now, or like a couple years ago or whenever it was, where you're just like, okay, God speaks to me. It wasn't that like then God decided to speak to you. It's then you recognized in your heart and accepted that this is God speaking to me. So I think it's just the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It doesn't answer the dreams that I was having prior.
Yeah,
it doesn't answer that.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Okay. So that's where I can get stuck now. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And not to say that I'm stuck or I'm struggling with anything around this topic. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying that, well, why all of a sudden, if this has been the case the whole time, why was I having those other dreams before? And then, so.
Well, I mean, you probably don't want to share what the dreams were, but
they're explicit dreams. Like there's dreams of like, they're very sexual dreams. That's really what they are. And not that I had them all the time, but I had them.
So, but that could still be God speaking to you. Like maybe like in your dream, like exposing something. Not that you're being like sexually explicit in real life, but like he could be showing you like where you were maybe like living a way that he didn't want you to live, or maybe you were thinking something or looking at something. Like it could have been that.
So show it to me and make me feel it, and that'll cure it. Like
I don't know. Okay, I don't know what the dreams were. This is just me pontificating. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't pontificate anymore until I know exactly what the dreams were.
I feel like you just learned that word recently.
It just sounds fancy. Pontificate. I thought the same thing though. Like I used to think that dreams were just like a projection of like your self-conscious, basically, or your subconscious.
Yeah.
And that it was just like, well, if you ate cheese at dinner and you were thinking about cheese, then like you'll have a dream about cheese,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Or it's if you're thinking about this person, whatever. And then TK actually would tell me like, dreams are God talking to you. And I was like, no, they're not. Like, it's just like your subconscious, like it's nonsense. And he's like, oh, watch, you're going to see. Like he really like came at me really strong with that one. And I was like, nah, like you're crazy. Like it's literally just like what you think about. Like, how can you tell me I think about my friend and then I go to sleep and I have a dream about my friend? Like, and then obviously TK was right because I definitely believe that now. So your experience with dreams, like, do you dream a lot? And I don't know, like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I dream all the time.
Yeah.
And as I said, sometimes like, okay, off the top of my head. So I remember before actually, as a matter of fact, I think we spoke about it on our previous podcast. I had a dream about a friend of mine, who he was around chaos, and it wasn't clear chaos, but I'm visualizing him lying on a couch. I'm dreaming of him lying on a couch, and I know that there's chaos going on around him, but it's very still. So I took it as I needed to call him and see what's going on and just kind of poke the bear a little bit and see what I can get out of it. But at the end of that, when I did call him the next day, because I hadn't spoken to him in a while, when I did call him the next day, and then we had our discussion, then I felt like, well, no, I was supposed to call him because he was supposed to help me with something that I wasn't seeing at the time, And here's the irony in all of that now is that same person has just passed away a week ago.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very unexpectedly. So I'm like, okay, so was my dream that, and was the chaos and are you okayness, that was that it, or was it that he was supposed to help me with something that I didn't know he was supposed to help me with, which he did, which he doesn't know. Well, he might know now.
Yeah. Facts.
But that kind of took me for a loop a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it was both.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a recent thing of a dream that I'm kind of sort of making sense out of it now. I've been having this frequent dream about me losing my car. I keep coming back to this because it just stands out in my brain. And I'm having this might be the 5th or 6th time that I've had a dream about me losing my car. All the dreams have been different, but all of them, I've lost my car.
Yep.
Right. So I dream a lot, but I can't make sense out of a lot of them.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this because, I personally was having all these dreams too that I couldn't make sense out of. And then I spoke to someone that I trusted who really kind of had this gift for interpreting dreams. And I was asking him every single time I had a dream, once a week, I'm like, I need to tell you this dream. I need to tell you this dream. And then got to a point where I was like, I just need you to tell me how to figure out my dreams so I can just stop bothering you. Yeah. And he gave me some really good tips. And then I was also watching this other preaching and looking up stuff like that. That pretty much confirmed everything that he said. So I was like, wow, God, okay. I do feel these are great steps to kind of figure out what you're trying to say to us through our dreams. So I want to share a few of those.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the first one is acknowledging that like dreams is like God like trying to start a conversation with you. He's trying to either speak to you, show you something, reveal something to you, something along those lines, right? A dream might not necessarily be like, I need you to go and do this, like an instruction, but it could be like, here's some information like for you, like this is what's going on, right? For example, the dream you had about your friend, like you felt like you woke up, you're like, okay, I need to call my friend. Like it was almost as if that dream was an instruction, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes like the dream could just be like something God is revealing to you, a piece of information that maybe you were unaware of. You didn't know about your life, about someone, about him, whatever, right? A dream could be many different things.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to intervene for a second.
Yes.
So you just said just now that dream about my friend was for me to call him. Interestingly enough, there was nothing in the dream that said call him. It was just me that woke up as like, I should call him.
Yeah.
And the main reason why is because I hadn't spoken to him in a while. Mm-hmm. And him and I don't speak on the phone.
Yeah.
Now that you said that just now I'm taking it as, that's a very good possibility because that was the last time I spoke to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So without that conversation, my last time speaking to him, I don't even remember what that was like.
Yeah.
But now I know. I'm fully, it was a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
And I can remember my last conversation with my friend before he passed.
Yeah.
Praise God.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. See, that's God speaking to us. Sometimes I always kind of look at it as, this is just Carissa's personal opinion, is sometimes we're just so busy with our daily lives or we're just totally tuned away from God that like when we're asleep, God's finally like, okay, finally I can talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's just my personal opinion though.
Yeah.
But so the number one thing that's really helped me interpret my dreams is understanding what things symbolize, but not in such a deep way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, for example, a car, right? Some people might take it as like, okay, well, this was like a Mitsubishi, and Mitsubishi starts with like a M, and M is like my mother's name. You know what I mean? Like they'll take it like that, which like, hey, if that's how God speaks to you, like, I can't knock that, right?
Yeah. That's funny.
But I find that that's where we get a little tripped up with dreams, right? Or it's like, okay, like, whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, super analyze it.
Yeah, like really just going like way into depth, like, oh, and I was drinking orange juice. Well, like orange juice is from Florida, and Florida, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's just like, sometimes I feel like we just analyze it too deeply in that way. And then a lot of times we'll go into these different websites, right? Like, what does it mean when you see a spider? What does it mean when you see a table, right?
Yes.
But these websites, like, they're all coming from somewhere, right? So if it's not coming from God, then like where are these interpretations coming from? Like they're not coming from like psychologists. Like there are a couple that I've seen, like people when they have dreams about their teeth falling out. That's apparently very common. There are very few, I think, that are actually from psychologists, but most of them, they're just from some kind of like back website or whatever. Yeah. So where's this interpretation coming from, right? You have to ask yourself that. I don't turn to those websites anymore because I don't feel like they're coming from God, right?
Yeah. Well, interesting you say that because I used to go look that stuff up.
Me too, all the time. Yeah.
And then for some reason or another, I just said to myself, I don't know why I think this is foolishness, but I'm not even going to bother to go back. This is before really understanding God and how he works.
Yeah.
I something told me that just to stop going there, and I stopped going there like years and years and years ago. Stopped.
Yeah. Same. I mean, I would do this like when I was like a kid.
Right.
Like we had this like book at home, and I would look up on some old computer or whatever, and it's like that those things. It is foolishness in a way because it's like, where is that coming from?
Right.
Where's this, who's giving you this divine interpretation, right? So look at what is in your dream and what that symbolizes. For example, a car, right? What do you use a car for?
Get around.
Yeah, you use a car to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. A car is used for traveling, getting from one place to another, right? So if I were to like look at your dream, my first thought would be like, okay, so the first thing that comes to mind is what's going on with you having to go somewhere, right?
Okay.
Like this car that appears in every dream, when I look at a car, I think, okay, that's how you get somewhere.
Yes.
So is your car being stolen? Is your car being stalled? Is your car going super fast? Like, where are you trying to go, and what's happening in regards to that, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would look at that dream, right? Rather than it's a Mitsubishi and M's for Mary.
Yeah, I wasn't going
right?
there with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that helped me a lot because I had this like one like really, really weird dream once that someone was like peeing like in like just like the middle of the floor. I don't want to say who it was, but just peeing in the middle of the floor. And they were peeing wine, and I was like, what the hell? So I told my friend this, and I was like, like, what does the wine symbolize? It's like the wine is in the Bible and the blah 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 whatever. And he was like, just shut up. He's like, just look at what that dream meant. Like someone peeing in the middle of the floor. Like what is that? Like that's a person just like going crazy and like losing their mind.
Somebody really drunk.
Yeah, right?
I've seen that.
Yes, okay, right? So I think the first step is before you overanalyze any symbols or any meanings is actually like what is actually going on in the dream, right? And what does that symbolize? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's easier said than done. Like,
yeah.
It makes sense to me in how to try to interpret the dream and God's message, if there is God's message in there.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that it's easy to come up with that answer.
Yeah.
Without praying about it.
That's true. Yeah. So that's definitely before you do anything, is pray about it. Like when you wake up, say, okay, God, like, what are you trying to say to me? What does this mean? Help me to decipher. Give me wisdom to understand. Yeah. I definitely should have said that first.
Yeah. Because even with my friend, I did pray about it.
Yeah.
I didn't pray about it immediately after.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed about it after when I was really trying to figure out what it was and why. After I spoke to him and he was fine. Yeah. That's basically when I went back to God and I'm like, well, he's fine. So what was that about?
Yeah.
Maybe he answered me, what was this now? That would have been June, July, August, September, August. Maybe he answered me 7 months later.
Hey.
8 months later.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
God's not on our timing.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it as to be, facetious. I'm like,
yeah.
He answered me like 8 months later.
Yeah. But you prayed about it 8 months ago. So it's like he answers it. Yeah. It's just in his time.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So what made you want to talk about this topic?
I don't know. We were just talking about dreams, and I've had some crazy dreams this week, and I'm like, let's talk about dreams because I feel like so many people have them, but I find them so meaningful, and I think they're just kind of thrown away as something that's like not meaningful, So
what do you think that dream about somebody peeing wine in the middle of the floor? Like, would have you come to a conclusion?
Yeah, that was like that probably wasn't the best example to bring up because there's like so much context behind like who it was and stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, basically the concept of them like losing their mind type of thing. And I was like, wow, okay. So it confirmed like a lot of different things, right? So your dream also, like if you're going to talk to anybody about like what your dream means, pray about it first because some people might not understand how to actually like interpret them. And I've done this before and I've been like so confused. If someone gives you an interpretation of a dream or you feel like you're interpreting your dream, it's going to like make sense to your life, right? So for example, one time I had this dream about like a rocket ship, right? And this one lady told me, she's like, oh, it's because there was like this bombing in Russia and like you have like a connection to like Europe. So like you're seeing these bombings happen. And I was like, what? It had no relation to my life. Like none of it made sense. And then I talked to somebody else about it and they were explaining to me like something about my life and a place that God was taking me. And I was like, okay, this makes sense,
Yeah.
So when you have a dream interpreted to you, or when you're interpreting your dream, like it's going to relate to your life because it's God trying to speak to you about your life. Right. So the next thing is, when it actually comes to the symbols, is to look in the Bible, right? Especially like if you believe in God and if you read the Bible, God will definitely use those symbols to speak to you. I'm not promising that, but for example, water, bread, maybe like a cross, maybe you're seeing like a black horse or a white horse in your dream, or a rainbow, all these different symbols that you see in the Bible. If you see them in a dream, refer to the Bible first and see what's up with that. For example, one time I had a dream that I was in this kind of like war, like torn area, like almost like
Russia.
No, yeah, maybe, yeah, actually.
I think that Russia's not worn and torn. It was just a really stupid joke.
It maybe looked like a place like, not that I really know what these places look like, but maybe like a Middle Eastern country that was like in like a rough area or something. And I was walking down these like hills, and I was going house to house, and I was delivering bread. Like I had this like beautiful basket of like fresh bread, and like I remember in the dream like it smelled so good, and I was knocking on the doors and like leaving bread at people's houses. And I woke up and I'm like, yo, that's sick, right?
Yeah.
The reason I thought that was sick is because I know in the Bible like what bread means, right? When Jesus says, I am the bread of life.
Right.
And he says, if you eat this bread, like you will never be hungry, right?
Yes.
So you know that the bread represents like the good news. Like I knew what it represented because of like what I had read in the Bible, right? So it's like, if I didn't know that and I just had a dream about bread, I'm like, why am I having a dream that I'm bringing food to people? Like maybe I would overanalyze it. Oh, was that in Iraq or blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like, but I knew like, no, I'm going door to door and I'm giving bread to people.
Okay.
So I was able to interpret that symbol because of what I knew about the Bible.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
So what if somebody had, I mean, I got to tell you, you're putting out some powerful words right now, where now the masses would listen to this and be like, all right, cool. So the next dream that I have, and then if the dream is about mud, I'm going to look up I'm going to Google mud in the Bible. I'm just making this up as we go. Mud in the Bible. And then nothing comes up. And then they're going to be like, well, I guess you were wrong about that type thing.
No.
Right?
So, well, firstly, it's like God is not like a genie trick. Like you have to be open to hear from him. That's number one. Is you're not going to be able to understand these dreams if you're not open to saying, okay, you know what, God, I want a personal relationship with you. I want a personal relationship with Jesus. Help me understand these dreams that I'm having. And, you know, speak to me through these dreams. What do you want to show me about my life? What do you want to show me about this world through my dreams? If you don't do that, then like, I'm sorry, like, I don't really know what to say.
Beautifully said.
Yeah. But it's you need that personal relationship first. Don't even worry about dreams. Just forget this whole episode and go listen to our other 15 episodes. We got lots of content for you. Yeah, like don't even worry about that. But you need that personal relationship first, because you also need to understand how to pray for your dreams, right? You can't just wake up and be like, well, God, I had a dream about mud, so I'm just going to Google mud. You have to understand like that you do need to pray. Like, God, show me what this dream means. Like, guide me, like give me the discernment, give me the wisdom. You need to really like lift that up in prayer, because the dreams can be very serious things, right? God can be showing you something really serious about your life. So those two things are like a must. And then you can get to like okay, so what does this mean, right? I am not promising anybody that like you're going to dream symbols from the Bible, or like that is 100% what it's going to mean. I'm just giving pointers.
Foundation.
Yeah. Pointers, and possibly like a foundation for where you could possibly be guided to understand your dreams. But like dreams aren't like black and white in the sense where it's just like it's the same for everybody. Like who knows, maybe like the M for Mitsubishi for Mary like could be for someone, right? I'm not going to say like God will only speak in one way, right? But this is why it's so important to have your own personal relationship with God and to pray, because without that, and you just look to somebody else, you're going to get kind of lost because it's your personal relationship.
So in other words, two people can dream about mud, and it has something to do with the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm making it up. It has something to do with the Bible, but it means two totally different things because those two different people have totally different relationships with God.
Yeah.
You know, you said something that I think is like the most amazing thing that I think I've heard this week.
Okay.
And I think we can't skip over it.
Okay.
You said God is not like a genie, a trick genie, or a genie who does tricks, or you said something along those lines. I think that needs to be a little bit more time needs to be put on that, because for people that are listening, you know, when we're saying, you know, God speaks to you in different ways, and God will do great things in your life, and all you got to do is ask, and all you got to do is pray on it. You have to understand something. He's not a trickster.
Yeah.
And he's not here to do magic shows for people. That's not what it is. It is all about the relationship that you have with him.
Yeah.
And he will reciprocate to you what you reciprocate to him.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're just doing it just to be like, I just want to see, and, you know, I'm going to prove them wrong by doing this to show them that this doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
We are speaking on experiences that we have. And listen, you've already heard it here today. You know, Carissa has her ideas around dreams. I have a totally different idea around dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure it out. And Carissa's not saying that she has it figured out.
No.
But there are foundations that can be looked at or started from. And when you build upon your foundation with God, your building is going to look very different than the other person's building. It's the same foundation, but the building is different because the work and the relationship and the craftsmanship is different per building. That's your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Does that
I like
make
that
sense?
analogy. Yeah.
So I think that's something that needs to be said, especially when we're talking about dreams, because like we said at the beginning, is dreams can be taken in 1,000 different ways.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And if there's one thing that everybody in this world is probably interested in some way, shape, or form, it's dreams.
Because nobody has to figure it out.
That's right.
We got the answer.
So I didn't want to skip over that part. You said it as a matter of fact, and to me, that was probably the most powerful thing I've heard all week.
Yeah. And you're literally proof of that, because you prayed about, God, what does this dream mean? 8 months ago or 7 months ago.
Right.
And it's like now 7 months later, you have the answer.
Right.
It's like he wasn't just like, yes, Jason, of course. And here's this letter that has determined what your dream.
Well,
like,
not only that, I mean, we can say it that I thought 3 weeks after I had 10 days after I had the dream, I thought I had it figured out. Yeah. I thought he spoke to me, and I thought he told me what it was. And I thought it was, Jay, he was trying to help you with something that you were struggling with, because I was struggling with something at the time. And my friend was pointing something out to me that I was refusing to see because it was him, because we argue with each other all the time. That's how we communicate. So maybe I wasn't wrong, but I didn't have the full story of the interpretation of the dream clearly. Maybe it was part of it. Yeah. But there was a much bigger thing that came much later.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too, is patience.
Yes. I just, I had a dream recently this week, and it helped me understand a dream I had 2.5 years ago that I totally forgot about.
What is it?
It's a long story.
Okay,
I don't even think it's worth getting into it right now. But just the fact, like, that's my point, is like 2.5 years, And I think when I had that dream back then, I prayed. I don't remember. But 2.5 years, like, patience is really a virtue that I think, we kind of struggle with.
How the hell did you remember a dream 2 years ago? Like 2 years prior to?
Oh, like it was like a serious dream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like, like you'll remember it, right? But I like what you said about everybody has their different like building, right? It's like everyone has a different personal relationship with God, and he's not a genie, but he does want to bless you with things. And literally the way I look at it as is God is your father, right? That's what it says in the Bible. He's your dad.
Abba.
Yes. Hey. So imagine like your dad here on earth like has like presents for you, right? Like literally like wrapped up in boxes. Like, okay, here, like I have like $5,000 for you, Jason. In this box, I have like peace of mind, you know. In this box, I have joy, whatever. In this box, whatever. I'm not saying God's gonna give you money, but it does say God will provide for you. He will give you joy. He will give you peace. He will give you strength, right?
He's given all of those things.
Yeah, amen. So literally, you have strength in a box. You have like a family in a box. Whatever it is for each person's destiny, right? And they're all at your dad's house because like that's where your dad lives. And like just to receive these gifts, you just gotta go over and see your dad. You know, but if you stay at your house and you're just like, I'll go see my dad next week, or, you know, my dad's always going to be there, whatever, no problem. Or, you know, why can't my dad just come to me? But your dad's sitting in that house with all those gifts. And he's just like, I just need you to come over to pick up your gifts. Like, come over and spend time with me and I'll give you these gifts. Like, it's like, we make it more complicated than it is. Like this personal relationship thing, you know? Why are you laughing? This is a serious moment.
Okay, sidebar.
Okay, like what even just went through your head?
Yeah, sidebar. You saw the look on my face? Is that?
It's just like something was going on through your head. Yeah. I'm like, is something I'm saying funny?
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, she doesn't even know what she said to me just now. Because I've been having this thought recently of why doesn't my dad come to my house? Why do I have to go to his house all the time? Literally, like this is something that's been on my
no way.
You know, it's not consuming me or nothing.
Yeah,
but it's crossed my mind. I'm like, if I don't go to my dad's house, I don't see my dad.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I would get mad at myself whenever I would think that. Like I'd be like, Jay, shut up. But it's true, but shut up. Like, and now I'm looking at you and you're saying these words, those exact words. That's so creepy. So you just got me all at my feelings now, and I'm like, come on, man.
You better know that the Lord wants you to go see your daddy, bro.
Yeah, so that's my sidebar. That's funny.
So when you went to your dad's house,
I received
tonight,
it. No, well, you know what? I went last week. So the last time that I had the thought of why do I have to keep going there, I actually got in my car and I went.
Well, he's telling you to go again.
Yeah, wow, I guess. Crazy. Yeah, I guess so.
See, you just saw like people just listen live on air an example of like God using someone. Yeah, that's crazy. That's hilarious. Yo, and you know what? As you were talking for like a whole like 2 minutes, I was like, I had this like thought like developing in my head. I'm like, I need to say this.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, the thought you just said?
Yeah, about the house thing. Like it was coming to me and I was like, okay, I want to say this.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
You know, going back to the analogy of, which I thought was pretty hype actually, the building.
Yeah.
The analogy.
Super hype.
Yeah, it was. You know, when you're building structures, foundations traditionally, more times than not, have to look the same because the foundation is the part of the building you don't see. Mm-hmm. It's the part. Without the foundation, the building cannot sustain.
Yeah. And
it cannot exist. So the foundation of everything, in my opinion, should be God.
It's not really your opinion. It's actually in the Bible. I was going to pull up the verse. Yeah. That's why I was going on the phone.
And I mean everything. I mean, no matter how small, no matter how big, no matter how frivolous, no matter how insignificant, you know, I pray before any decision I make now, almost, you know, with the exception of like, should I buy this chocolate bar? Like I'm not losing my mind, but, when I make a decision, you know, I'm going to should I call this person? And when I call this person, I need you to help me with what I should say to this person. To most people, that is like, regular things.
Yeah.
That's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm going to call this person, I'm going to be like, hey, how you doing? Catch up. How's the kids? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I do it because I believe that I might be able to speak to this person in a way that might shock them. And the only way that's going to happen is if I'm being used by God to do so.
Yes.
So that's why I pray even before I call somebody.
Yeah. Exactly. Because then you say things that you're just like, why did I even say that? Like,
exactly.
Like literally me, like just like being like, that's a nice analogy. A dad going over to his house.
Right.
And just say this.
Right.
I wasn't thinking that this was about to rock Jason's
No,
world.
dude, you didn't say that. You said, and when you say to yourself, why do I always have to go over there? That's what you said.
I wasn't trying to like rock your world, you know what I mean?
You couldn't.
Like,
nobody knows this.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't know that I think this. This is my thoughts between me and God. Nobody knows that I think this. And this is just a testament to how real I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
I just put out there that I say to myself, why do I need to go see my dad all the time? Why does my dad... Do you understand how messed up that sounds? Right? Like, and I just put that out there. So just to show you how real this is.
Yeah.
This is a thought that only me and God know. And you just said the most outrageous thing, word for word on the thoughts that I had between me. I might be the only person in this world who actually thinks that way.
I don't think so.
No? It makes me feel a little bit better to know that there's other assholes out there too, like me. Right? Because it is an asshole thing to think.
I don't think so.
No? Okay, well, thanks. But I think it is.
Okay. It's funny because I've actually been going through the same thing with my parents.
And the plot thickens. Okay.
Every time I invite them over, they're just like, no, we'll just come over another time. And then my dad calls me. He's like, so when are you going to come over? And I'm just like, why do I have to try?
Okay, all right.
Anyways,
all right.
but I haven't said that aloud because I'm like, I'm not an asshole.
Yeah. So that's why you're backing me up, because you're the asshole too. I love it. Yeah, man.
This is why we're friends.
I love it. That's funny. That just happened.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm like totally lost track.
Yeah, me too. That's funny. That's good stuff.
My gosh.
That's good stuff.
Okay. Well, let me bring it back to this, like
Yes.
what you were saying about the foundation, okay?
Yes.
Because it's not just your opinion, like it's actually the Bible, because Jesus basically says, like, unless the foundation is built on God, like, it's going to crumble. And it's just like, yikes.
Yeah.
Right? But then it says, like, anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise like a person who builds a house on a solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the flood waters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it is built on a bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash.
Would you believe me if I told you, and just so I don't like go crazy right now, tell me if this scenario is what happened with you. Would you believe me that I just heard that very same thing that you just read to me like 4 days ago?
Yeah. I mean, well, clearly something is happening in this moment, so I guess I would definitely believe you.
So did you hear it anywhere else, or did you just know about that and you just went to it just now?
No, I went to it because you started talking about like a foundation. And then you said foundation, and then I thought about the Bible. Okay, are you stressed now? What's going on?
Well, yeah, no, I'm not stressed. I'm just like, you know me. Yeah. So, yeah, I just heard a teaching on that.
Wow.
Those verses you just read just now on that. I forgot about it until just now when you read it. I'm like, that sounds so familiar.
Listen, we thought this podcast episode was about dreams, but it's really just God trying to talk to Jason. That's really just what's happening right now. Apparently so.
I receive it.
Wow.
It. Anyway, but yeah, that is, there you go. So that just talks about, that's
summed
like, it all up.
That's your personal relationship with God. It's just like, even when it comes to dreams or whatever, it's make sure you have that solid foundation, or like the dreams will just come crashing. Everything will just come crashing, right? Like you need that solid foundation first. Like Jesus says, like it needs to be built on like a rock.
Yeah.
You know, because then things will come. Like you will get dreams that like maybe they will scare you or certain situations in life will happen, but because you're on that rock, like you're not going to be moved, you're not going to be shaken. That's the whole point.
What that brings me back to is, remember many podcasts ago, that sounds cool to say, many podcasts ago, when I told you that I tested God?
Yes.
So there it is. There's a perfect example of it is I believed, but I wasn't sure if what I was believing in was true.
Okay.
So I said to God, I'm cool right now. I'm gonna take this.
Okay.
And I am going to take this season right now, and I'm just going to do it on my own. And I said, please be there for me if I need you later. But I just need to do this for me.
Okay.
I need to know if what is happening and what I see and what I believe is real. And this is my way of trying to figure out if it is. And if it is, I'm yours until the day I die and then some.
This was when you originally tested him? Is this what you're referring to?
Yeah, this is the original test. I've only tested him once.
Yes. I thought you were going to say you did it again.
No. You only do that once. Yeah. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
Yeah.
So you don't go from, a hellhole to living life and then
I'll go back to the hellhole.
And then to a hellhole again when you decide to do it on your own.
Yeah.
You only do that once.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just needed to do that, and I told him, I'm just gonna take care of things on my own now, and we'll see what happens. And almost immediately, my world started to crash around me again. Mm-hmm. Almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I tried to dig out of it, and I tried to manipulate and maneuver and use and all those, all the fun stuff to get myself out of it.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, during it, I had some good times.
Yeah.
But those very, very, what's the word? Short-term good times that I had was not worth the long term of bullcrap that I had to go through. Mm. So when I realized that I got to a point where this is getting way out of control now, and I just want help now, and I never doubt you again, and I'll never question it again. Yeah. Take me back. I repented, begged for mercy, like literally, and then got back on track. And just as quickly as I found myself sinking, mm-hmm. just as quickly as I got pulled out from the ground.
Yeah. And
then when that happened now, I'm like, okay, nobody's going to tell me any differently again going forward.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that rock that we're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. Because then people can come at you and be like, oh, but blah, blah, blah. Or people can do this and do that. And it's like, nope, I'm standing right here.
Never. Yeah. Nobody could tell me differently.
Yeah.
No priest, no rabbi, no Christian leader, nobody could tell me that God doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like nobody can tell me that God doesn't exist, and God doesn't have an impact in our lives, and God cannot, you cannot put your problems onto God and Him take care of them for you.
Yeah.
Like these are all for real things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in the Bible actually, and I'm going to highlight that verse. I need to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's twice it came up in a week. That's not a coincidence.
No, definitely not.
That's not a coincidence.
Listen, let's wrap this episode up and put a little bow on it, which I feel like is basically, if you're having dreams and you're like, what do these mean? Take the step to initiate a personal relationship with God. And you can begin this journey of understanding what is going on with your life and understanding what is going on with these crazy dreams that you're having. That personal relationship, just go to your dad's house. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I'm going to see Daddy this weekend.
Just gotta get in the car.
Yeah, 100%. I'm coming, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Any last thoughts you have?
No. This this didn't go anything like I thought it was going to go.
Same here. Yeah. I thought we were going to get through some other points.
Yeah,
yeah.
This was good. This was great.
Yeah, this is excellent.
This was great for me.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast is for us. So it's our business. All right, guys, thank you for listening.
Appreciate y'all.
Guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Listen, if you know someone that can benefit from this episode, we are asking you to please send it over to them. We would love for them to hear it. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Carissa and Jason and over on YouTube at Real Talk with Carissa and Jason.